Well, the next big film role was La Bamba.
Yeah.
And this is what actually puts you in the stratosphere. And by the way, I love that movie. Just a great music biopic.
Yeah. It holds up, man. I mean, like I said, I saw it recently, but also we did a 4K screening of it at the Academy Museum, and I'm one of the governors for the actors branch of the Academy. And it sold out, 1,000 tickets, and his family was there. His little sister Irma was there, and his little brother Mario, who was a baby in the movie. And a lot of the nieces and nephews and whatnot. The real Brenda. She had a girl. We named her Brenda. The real Brenda was there. And Danny Valdez and Isai. And seeing it on the big screen, recently, it's like it holds up. It was not of a time. I mean, a lot of 80s films feel like the 80s, and they are time capsules. But this one is sort of evergreen, and it's really wonderful because the story maybe is even more relevant today, of a farm worker following his dream and the American dream that so many marginalized people have, and that, talent and determination, can actually get you very far, in this country.
Well, you're Filipino and white, and your first major role playing Ritchie Valens, who is Mexican.
Yeah. Yeah, and, It's interesting. A lot of people say, well, why'd they cast you? I was a kid, trying to get a job, man, and looked enough like the role. I wrote a film called Ambition, where I play Filipino American, and cast Dr. Hang Nor, Cambodian, as my father, the Oscar winner from The Killing Fields. But Cecilia Peck was my leading lady, and I had the wonderful opportunity to have a dinner with Gregory Peck. And Gregory said to me, "Lou, you put me in mind of my friend Tony Quinn." And that was not only such huge praise, but it really sort of articulated, who I was in the 80s. Because Anthony Quinn had played, Greek and Mexican and Native and Inuit and all of these things. And that sort of became my path, for a while in the 80s. But when it came to the casting in La Bamba, Luis Valdez saw 600 people. Maybe more, I'm told, in LA, New York, Chicago, Dallas, San Antonio. So this wasn't a whim. He looked long and hard. And he was looking more for a quality, I think, than what we're doing today, which is, hey, the DNA's got to match. We're making those boxes smaller. If you are not this, you can't play the role. And he pointed out, I think, at a luncheon early on to a Latino support group, I think it was LULAC, that he felt I was the face of the future, and also pointed out that when it comes to the United Farm Workers Union, which gave birth to Teatro Campesino that he and his brother Danny Valdez started, the Filipinos are the second biggest demographic, closely behind Chicanos, as far as that union goes in California. So there were a lot of reasons that Luis felt I was, the right guy for the role. And I think the biggest one is that the family endorsed me. During my screen test, I was standing outside smoking a cigarette back when I used to smoke. And this red T-Bird convertible pulls up, and out of it steps this Chicano guy with a white, tank top and a black leather vest and some wraparound balaramas. And he looks at me and gives me one of these. And I went, oh my God, that's the real Bob Morales, And when I got the role and flew back to Texas to pack a bag, because I was only out there for a week, when I went back to pack a bag for the entire shoot, it was Bob that picked me up at the airport. And he took me to the house that Ritchie bought his mom, Connie, in Pacoima. And I met everybody. Connie Sr., Connie Jr., Irma, Mario, obviously Bob and his wife, Joni, at the time, and Rosie, the real Rosie. So the family gave me their full-hearted endorsement. And so for me, that was really all of the validation I needed.
Well, around that time, didn't you actually meet with Cesar Chavez, and you went on hunger strikes with him and everything else like that?
100%, man. I mean, throughout my career, and being somebody who has represented so many marginalized communities, it's always important to me to, approach that character, with dignity and with respect, and knowing that I am representing a community, and quite often looking for the blessing of that community. So with La Bamba, it was a little bit after the fact, but yeah, because of Luis, I was able to meet, Cesar Chavez. He was going through, I think, his 72-day hunger strike at the time, and we met, and I marched with him and took up the fast. That he was passing his cross to a lot of different people, and I got the cross from Charles Hayde while I was shooting Renegades in Toronto, and then after my 3 days, I gave it to Kerry Kennedy in Boston. So it was really my honor, to represent, the Chicano community. But back in the day, we were doing a lot of that with, like El Rescate or Amnesty International or the UFW, obviously, Housing Now. I mean, there were a lot of the usual suspects, who were involved, Eddie Olmos being one of them. But it was always my desire through high school and college and whatnot to be involved in the community, and the fact that I had the great fortune to start my career with Luis Valdez and Danny Valdez and Edward James Olmos, these people who were really socially active, it just underlined that for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, Cesar Chavez is essentially the most famous Chicano civil rights figure, period. He's essentially the Martin Luther King of Mexican Americans.
Absolutely, and Dolores Huerta, is carrying that torch today and just doing an amazing job. And once again, here we go. Everything old is new again. Those issues, those concerns are evergreen and are as relevant, if not more so, today with a lot of the policies that are being enacted.
Oh yeah, I'm in LA right now, and they just shut down all of downtown over the protests against deportation and everything else like that. So yeah, very, very much relevant today.